Big up to everybody that's here. Welcome along to another Fletch Talks live stream. How are we all doing today, people? How are we all doing today, you glorious, glorious people? I hope the international break is treating you nicely. I hope it is. We're almost through it. We're almost through the first international break of the season. It has been long, it's been boring, it's been tedious, but the light is at the end of the tunnel, people, and we can definitely see the light in this international break. Premier League football and club football is returning. It is on the horizon. We can almost taste it. We can almost feel it. International football is almost over for at least another month before it returns, and it is absolutely horrible. Just on that, by the way, I'm sure it's just English fans that obviously have that kind of opinion, but international breaks, if there's any teams, if there are any people out there that support national teams other than England, let me know. How do you feel about international breaks? Do you see them as a bit of a buzzkill like what I do? Are you not quite as hyped for them? Or are you very hyped for them? Because it does seem like wherever I go, international breaks are very much enjoyed by everybody outside of England. Everybody outside of the England national team and the England national football sphere seem to enjoy international breaks a hell of a lot more than people that support England. And that doesn't matter who they are facing, by the way. That doesn't matter who they are facing. They could be facing anyone. And they'd still be hyped for it. Whereas England, unless it's a major tournament, no one seems to care. Like, England could be facing San Marino, or they could be facing Brazil, or they could be facing France, Spain, whoever. It doesn't matter. No one cares, or at least that's what I gauge the opinions of most English football fans. At least no one really cares. No one really cared. I didn't even watch the game for England against Andorra because there's no point in watching the game between England and Andorra, because England should win, did win, and although it wasn't like it was like a 4-5-0 victory, at the end of the day, we all know that England are going to qualify for the World Cup, so it doesn't really matter. And if they don't, then something is seriously wrong with the squad and with the manager. So who cares? Who cares? But let me know. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling in the chat about international breaks. Good thing, bad thing, too many of them, not enough of them. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling there. I also want to put a poll in the chat. I'm going to start doing this as a sort of question, a question for every live stream. I always want to kind of have a question for every live stream, and that is, who is the better Premier League manager? Just want to start something there. I just want to see and gauge the opinions of you guys on certain questions. It could turn into a topic, or it could just be a random question that is just in there right now. I just want to test certain things. I just want to test and do certain things differently to more engage with you guys on that. So yeah, we're gonna see by the end of this stream how far that has gone. Big up to everybody that's here. Like I say, thank you for joining me on this Monday afternoon. Hope we're all doing well. Start of a new week. Like I say, international break is almost over, so we shall see. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Thank you, each and every single one of you. And yes, as Marco is here, get involved in the chat as well. Big up to you, Marco. Welcome along, my bro. Hope you're doing well. Let me know what you're up to today. It'd be interesting to know how you're keeping. What do you think of Thomas Tuchel? I like him as England manager. I'm not expecting us to play amazing football, but at the same time, I think he will be enough to get us over the line. I've not seen anything amazing from him yet, anything outstanding from him yet. But like I say, I think when maybe the major tournaments do come around, I think he will be the man. I don't necessarily know if he'll be the man to get us over the finish line, but he will be the guy to at least do sort of what Southgate did, but a little bit. Like, he doesn't play the most amazing football, but he plays at least somewhat more entertaining and a bit more expressive, a little bit more expressive than what Southgate did, which was just defend, defend, defend. I mean, Tuchel's system is solid, but it's not overly reliant on everybody defending. There is a bit more. There's a bit more freedom to it than that, but I think he'll do all right. Like I say, I don't know if he'll be the man to get us across the finish line in order to win a major tournament, but we shall see. We shall see. I'm all for the inclusivity, but a German as manager of England still takes getting used to. Yeah, it was. I'd say it was a little strange, but the pool of English managers right now it's not exactly deep, is it? I wouldn't want anyone that is an English manager to be going ahead of Thomas Tuchel. And I like Eddie Howe, by the way. I think Eddie Howe could be a future England manager. But I wouldn't want him right now. And like I say, the other crop of English managers, they're not very good. They're not very good. I wouldn't want like a Gerrard or a Lampard or, anyone English, any English manager that you can think of right now, I would not want as England national team manager. Not that I care anyway, because I don't care until it's a major tournament. But at the same time, like, I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, Tuchel was the best man for the job, in my opinion. Best person to take over Southgate with, and we'll be good at to actually see us win the major tournament. But at the same time, I don't necessarily care. I do and I don't. It'd be great for a lot of people that I know, and it'd be great for people that take international football somewhat seriously. But at the same time, I've been done with England for so long that I just don't care. At the same time, I just don't care. Vote Sir Alex Ferguson. Yeah, get involved in the poll, by the way, guys. Get involved in the poll. Let me know who you think is the best Premier League manager of all time, Sir Alex Ferguson or Pep Guardiola. I don't think there's going to be any debate about anybody else in the running for that question. So I'm going to only assume there's only going to be two possible answers. But hey, maybe you've got someone else in mind. Maybe you want to throw Eric Ten Hag in there. Maybe you want to throw Frank de Boer in there. Oh, what a guy. What a time that was for Crystal Palace. Just let me know. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, international break's almost over. Premier League is almost back. The transfer window has been and it has gone. I can't wait for this weekend. I cannot wait to see Liverpool back in action. I cannot wait to see Premier League back in action. But more specifically, Liverpool, of course, because we have a new striker in our ranks. We have a new player in our ranks that I am looking forward to seeing. Now, do I expect him to play the full 90 minutes? No. Do I expect him to start the game? No. Why? He's had no preseason. He's probably going to play 20, 30 minutes at max. Maybe not even 30. Maybe less than 30. Probably 20 minutes. He's probably going to play 20 to 25 minutes at max, right? But I cannot wait to see Alexander Isak in a Liverpool shirt. Cannot wait to see that. What has transpired over the course of this international break is something that I think we might need to talk about. The hatred towards Florian Wirtz, Alexander Isak, Liverpool in general needs to be discussed. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Liverpool fan and it's like, oh, you need to leave my club alone, protect us. No, I welcome everybody piling in on us. I welcome the added pressure personally, because if our club can step up to that and overcome that pressure, then it would make our victory and triumph even sweeter. So I'm not saying stop. If anything, I'm encouraging it. But at the same time, I do think somewhere along the line it does cross a bit of a line. The Alexander Isak situation, for example, a lot of people out there claiming that a lot of people are going to take a leaf out of Isak's book if they want to leave their own club and just throw tantrums, throw their toys out the pram, and end up just doing their own thing. And there could be some truth to that. But to act like this has now set the precedent when this has been going on for years from certain players is just wrong. Like, people will look at Mark Gahey and compare it with Isak, compare it with Visser, compare it with Gyökeres, and see that the person who, in their minds, went about it the right way didn't end up getting the move. And they'll go, right, well, Isak's now set the precedent. Players are going to act the way that he's acted, and they're going to force their moves out of their clubs. And I think that whilst it may be true that more players may do that, I also think that to use Isak as the scapegoat in that situation, when loads of other players have done it, not just this year with Gyökeres, with Visser, but with other players as well of years gone by. Kane tried to do it. Shearer was called out by Michael Owen as to potentially looking at a way out of Newcastle. A lot of other players have done it over the years. Isak is not setting the tone here. He is not a trendsetter in this situation. He's just a player that has followed other players in the past of doing this kind of thing to try and look out for himself, his family, and for his career. That's it. That is it. There is nothing to it more than that. But when you get very powerful, very influential people like Gary Lineker, like Alan Shearer, and like Mika Richards on a podcast talking about this could make everything worse for clubs going forward. Player power has never been stronger within clubs. No one forced Newcastle to sell Isak. No one forced them to. They could have just sat there and put him in the reserves, like so many Newcastle fans, by the way, wanted, and let him to rot. Let him to rot and made him basically tuck his tail between his legs and come back and go, I'm sorry for kicking up a fuss. Is there any way that I can reintegrate with the squad? They didn't have to sell him. The club decided to cash in on him whilst the stock was high. It's dangerous, this. It's dangerous. And then on the Florian Wirtz thing, I know he's not had the best of starts to his Liverpool career. I'm not going to sit here and lie that he's been amazing, that he's been great. He was decent in the Community Shield. He was okay, maybe just slightly below okay in the Bournemouth game. He was terrible against Newcastle. And for 45 minutes against Arsenal, the first 45 minutes he was poor. And the second 45 minutes, he was so much better and he was so good in that game. I know he hasn't started off well. I know there is an adaptation period. And he shouldn't be getting like the kind of scrutiny and abuse, in my opinion. But I understand why it's there. I understand why a lot of people are jumping on his back early. A lot of rival fans are. They're going, oh, this is what you get when you pay 100 odd million. Makes you wonder what my player's worth and that and this and that. It will take time. We haven't bought him for 3 games. We've bought him for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10 years. That's how long we bought him for, not for 3 games. So the idea that, this is all happening now, it's just crazy to me. Look, there are issues there in terms of his physicality. I think there are issues that he's going to have to adjust to the Premier League. These are just natural things that players adjust to. Some adjust quicker than others. He isn't the one that determined his own price tag. Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen determined the price tag of Florian Wirtz. So to jump on him for his price tag is, in my opinion, ridiculous, and is the same way for other players as well. But there's a lack of respect there. There's a lack of even knowledge or a lack of awareness from certain fan bases and certain areas of the footballing community. It's just bizarre to me. It's just bizarre. I fully back Florian Wirtz to eventually silence these doubters, silence these haters. Scored a cracking free kick yesterday. Didn't sound like he had the best of games again for Germany, but he did seem to make up for it with that quality free kick a little bit. It's going to take some time, but I've got no doubt in my mind he's going to come good. I think he needs to just beef up a little bit. I think he needs to adjust to a league that is not going to give him the kind of same amount of time on the ball as what he was allowed to in the Bundesliga. But at the same time, like I say, it's fine. He's going to be okay. He's going to be more than okay. He's going to be great. And a lot of rival fans just enjoy getting it in whilst you can. Just enjoy getting on his back whilst you can, pointing out that he's worth over 100 million, the transfer fee and all of that stuff. Just enjoy that now whilst you still can, because I'm pretty sure that in the not too distant future, Wirtz will come good. Wirtz will be amazing. Wirtz will be a standout performer. Enjoy it now. Because all I've seen is people jumping on Wirtz for his performances for Liverpool, people jumping on Wirtz for his performance for Germany. And it's somewhat laughable. It is somewhat laughable in a way, because I'm sat here and I'm going, I can admit he's not been great. But I know that all of these comments are going to come back to bite these people. I am very confident that that will be the case. And my case in point to that is, as a lot of Chelsea fans have been pointing out this week, Moises Caicedo. A lot of Chelsea fans unhappy that why was Caicedo judged after 3 or 4 games whilst Wirtz has been left to simply stink the place out for 3 or 4 games and not get any sort of scrutiny unless it's from rival fans. And to that, I say some players I agree, are more protected than others from certain fan bases. But at the same time, I will also point out that from what I remember, and again, this is not every fan, this is not every rival fan, this is just the kind of circles that I was roaming around in at the time. From what I remember, a lot of the comments that were being made at Moises Caicedo were basically caveated with, this is obviously at this time. He's not proven why he's worth the price tag he is right now. But I know that eventually he will start to rediscover the form he showed at Brighton and what made him this over £100 million player. So I know for a fact, like, he will come good. I know for a fact he will be better. And I know for a fact that there are other examples of players in his position that have had to overcome this doubt, this negativity, and things like that. And not only that as well, but Isak's going to get it as well. Isak's going to get it as well. Isak could come on against Burnley with only 1 minute to go, not score any goals, and people will still jump on his back. You played 1 minute. How have you not scored a hat-trick? You cost 125 million. You broke the Premier League transfer record. Why is that? What's that all about? That could happen on Saturday. And a lot of people will buy into it as well. Why? Because Liverpool have got a massive target on their back this year. Massive, massive target on their back. Massive target on their back from not just winning the Premier League, but from also managing to spend as much as they have done throughout the entirety of the summer. And people are still sat there questioning how that was possible. People are still there questioning, how were Liverpool able to spend this much? What about PSR? What about FFP? Why is it the big clubs that can do this? Because Liverpool have been so successful these past several years, both on and off the pitch. Deal with it. If you look into it, rather than just scratching the surface on it and throwing out these wild and crazy accusations, maybe you'll start to understand why. Maybe you'll start to understand why. It's just crazy to me. But that's just what X is now. X is. I really wish we could have a footballing platform where, you know, there was fair debate and there was actually interesting football conversation and debate. I'm not saying no banter, because I understand banter is part and parcel of football culture, and I'm all for that. But these days, X, or as I still call it, Twitter, it's just full of toxic, rage bait, engagement farming morons. It really, really is now. It's full of them. I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hate it. Like, I have to obviously stick with it to a certain degree, because, you know, there's a lot of information on there when you decipher through all the trolls and everything else. Like, there's a lot of information on there, and there is a lot of good people on there that will provide some good insights, some good topics of conversation, and some interesting things like that. But for the most part, X has just become who can get the most engagement in their ridiculous, pathetic views, their rage bait, their engagement farming, all of that kind of stuff. It is so, so horrible. And like I say, with Liverpool's recent Premier League success, as well as obviously their transfer window, Liverpool, I've just noticed, have been getting it a lot more. And like I say, it's reached a point where I think it needs to be called out. And it needs to be called out even more, because it probably will happen to your team. If you're sat there right now thinking, oh, boo-hoo Liverpool, that kind of thing, it's probably going to happen to your team at some point. I know Arsenal get it a lot, and, you know, I think some of the criticism that they get is deserved. Same with Liverpool, by the way. I'm not saying that we're perfect. I'm saying that when we deserve criticism, we probably do deserve criticism. But like I say, it will happen to everybody else. Everybody else will eventually get it. Like I say, Arsenal do get some. Liverpool do get some. Chelsea a little bit. City, not as much, but I'm hoping that will. I'm hoping that will change if or when 115 charges get sorted, and also if they continue on this really weird and mad decline that that Guardiola and City seem to be on right now. United constantly get it as well. I'm not denying that. Spurs, sort of, but it's like eventually it will happen to all clubs. And then you'll be in my position, and then other rival fans will be going, "Oh, get on with it. It's fine. It's just criticism." Some of it is criticism. Some of it is warranted. Some of it is deserved. But at the same time, some of it is not. Some of it is not. And some of it can lead to a lot of worse things. And like I said with Isak, to set the precedent, like he is a trendsetter in this, that he's going to be the guy to start turning everybody's heads, to start being like, well, if I want to force a move out, I'm going to have to start behaving the way Isak did. Well, Gyökeres did it. Vissa did it. Guess what? Players in recent years have done it. Players in years gone by have done it. He is not the person to start this trend. He's just not. He's just not that guy. Pep was at the US Open tennis final in New York yesterday. I imagine he's just enjoying the international break, bit of time off, I think he is a bit of a tennis fan as well. I think he's been at Wimbledon. Was he at Wimbledon this year? I want to say he was, but I can't remember for sure. The other day it was Slovenia versus Sweden, aka Isak versus Gyökeres. Isak and Gyökeres versus Sesko. It was a draw. Sesko played better than the Swedish strikers, actually, in my opinion. Isak didn't come on the pitch though, did he? I don't think he got any minutes in that game. So Isak wouldn't have done well, but I think Gyökeres got an assist, didn't he? Isak got an assist. Gyökeres got an assist, and Arsenal fans lost their minds, which I thought was hilarious. Guess what? As well, Mikel Merino got a hat trick yesterday, and Arsenal fans lost their minds. Oh well, we were told he's a defensive midfielder. Yeah, he was. You didn't buy him as a striker, did you? Otherwise, why would you have bought Gyökeres? And not only that as well, but it's obvious and clear, and I've been saying for some years, international football, the standard. Oh, I'm back. There we go. That was weird. Yeah. International football, the standard has gone down. The standard has gone down on international football. So much. So much. Simple as that. The standard has gone down on international football a lot. Don't rate it. Don't rate it completely. Enjoyable in major tournaments, yes. But I don't really gas up international football and the performances of international football, other than I just see it for what it is. Because if you were, you'd have some proper mad players. I could find a compilation of Xherdan Shaqiri playing for Switzerland, and you could make him look like he's some sort of Lionel Messi type figure. Gini Wijnaldum used to play a more advanced role for the Netherlands than he did at Liverpool, and he'd be scoring pretty much every international break. And fans would be like, well, why does he do this for Liverpool? I thought Liverpool midfielders don't score goals. And it's like, yeah, but he plays a different role. And international football is not as difficult as it is at club level. International football has definitely gone downhill over the years. That's just my opinion anyway. That's just my opinion anyway. And then you got last night, Mirko Marino scoring a hat-trick for Spain against Turkey. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, legit, what are we doing? What are we doing? Harry Maguire was used to play extremely well for England, but not well for United. Shows you all you need to know. I was hoping Onana would have cancelled his move last night to Turkey, saying he wants to fight for his place. It would have been so funny. Well, to be fair to him, Onana doesn't catch a lot, so I'm surprised he managed to catch his flight. There we go. But no. I mean, it does show how it does show how desperate Trabzonspor were. That they needed a goalkeeper and they settled on Onana. I mean, surely, like, one of the under 12s in their squad probably would have been a better choice than Onana, right? Don't get me wrong, it's brilliant for United. Brilliant for United to get rid of him. But I'm just questioning how desperate Trabzonspor were that they decided to land on, of all goalkeepers, Andre Onana. I'm still baffled by it. I am still baffled by it. Like I say, I'm surprised he even managed to catch his flight because he can't catch anything else. Couldn't even catch a cold. So, very strange. Very, very strange is what it is. Reddit's a good platform. Is it? I've never really been a Reddit fan, so I wouldn't really know, to be honest. But like I say, X is just so toxic now. It's just so toxic. You get fans that tweet about. You get fans that are Player FC, so they have their picture or their avatar or whatever as a player, and that player can't do nothing wrong, but every other player does. You have anonymous people again that have their proper club badge as their picture, their avatar, and all they do is tweet about other clubs 24/7. They don't tweet about their own. They don't tweet about, what's going on with their club. They tweet about rivals. They tweet about, other clubs and have higher standards for other clubs than they do their own. It's just very, very weird. And all the others are like United Trey and stuff like that constantly just post absolute crap in the hope that it just gets them engagement farming. I mean, the especially United Trey, like, I don't know how genuine this was, but someone posted a screenshot of him tweeting about Benjamin Sesko seemingly getting an assist. I don't know if he actually did get that assist in the end for Slovenia. I don't know if he did. No, it must have got taken off him or something. But he seemingly put a tweet out that was basically gassing up Benjamin Sesko for getting an assist for Slovenia, which obviously was then deemed not his assist, I assume, or something. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how genuine and true this is. I've not been paying attention to any international football across this break, by the way. And saying, "Oh, he's great. He's back. He's now running up and running," that kind of thing. And then And then basically when Wirtz gets his free kick goal yesterday, oh, you silence nobody, no one's paying attention, this ain't great, you're still washed, you're still this, you're still rubbish and that. It's terrible engagement farming. It's just horrible banter, and this is what football has become now. These like 12-year-old kids that are just running around like spouting this absolute nonsense. It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Matty Cash, Polish Cafu, scored top bins against Netherlands, Van Dijk, Gravenberch, and he did the same thing against Netherlands 2 years ago. Watch that goal back. Wildy dagger last minute. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, Matty Cash, he's okay. He's decent enough. Not a world beater. But on an international stage, I think anybody can look like a world beater. I think that's genuinely possible. Obviously, you still got your standout performers. You know, your Ronaldo's over the years, your Messi's, obviously, because he's the GOAT. But at the same time, like, I think like the international stage over the years has really made average players look better than what they actually are, for the most part. And that could be down to the overall squad of the team, because obviously you don't have the luxury of transfers and things like that in international squads. But at the same time, I still think majority of average players, definitely are made to look better. Are definitely made to look better than they actually are. Was Shaqiri bad for Liverpool? I wouldn't say so. I think for 12.5 million, give or take, when he came in, I think he did his job really, really well. I still remember the overhead kick he scored in pre-season against Man United, which was quality. And, of course, the 2 goals he scored against United, which ultimately, I think, cost Jose Mourinho his job. He chipped in when it mattered most. So I cannot fault Xherdan Shaqiri. My point is that he wasn't like world class. He was a very, very good player, very good technically gifted player that I thought had this very unique unpredictability factor about him, as not a lot of players have that now. Not a lot of players have that individual quality, that unpredictability about them, because he could have that moment where something predictable should happen, but he would turn it into something amazing. He did it at Stoke a number of times. He's done it wherever he's been a number of times. And I like that quality about him, which made him one of my favorite footballers at the time. And I really kind of wish that we saw a lot more Shaqiri. And of course, Shaqiri was part of that incredible Liverpool team that beat Barcelona. Oh, sorry, bro, I forgot you're a Barcelona fan, aren't you? My bad. He set up Gini Wijnaldum's second goal. Sorry, bro. I just have to throw that in there. I do apologize, Marco. I do apologize. I love international football. To win the World Cup or Euros is so special. Even Champions League can't compare, in my opinion. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that the major international tournaments aren't worth watching for international football. Like international football, when it gets to the Euros, when it gets to the World Cup, I really enjoy it. But I don't care for the Nations League. Maybe it's because it's not prestigious enough. I don't know. I don't care for it. I see them as just glorified friendlies, in all honesty. And the qualifiers are not great anymore. Like maybe the qualifiers of like years gone by were really, really good. And that, you know, maybe there was more intrigue. Maybe there was a higher quality of games that were being shown. Maybe the kind of competition was a lot more fierce and competitive. But I mean, look at England's group. Look at England's group right now. Let's just take a look at England World Cup qualifier group. I mean, the group of that England are in is Serbia, Albania, Latvia, and Andorra. What is the point of that? What is the point of that group? It's exactly how you would probably have predicted it as well right now. We're halfway through the group stages, and it's exactly how you would predict it. England at the top, as you'd expect, 4 wins out of 4, 8 goals scored, none conceded, by the way, with Serbia second. That's how you would have predicted that group finishing. What is the point of that group? And I'm just looking around at all the others as well. There's no one really that is... There's no real shocks. I mean, maybe Italy being third in their group with Norway, Israel, Estonia, and Moldova. But Italy, since winning the European Championships, have kind of been on a little bit of a downward spiral. Scoring goals hasn't exactly been their forte. But there's no one else that you would go, that's a bit of a shock. That obviously needed to be played out, because it doesn't. It really doesn't. Portugal have only played 1 game. Spain have only played 2 alongside Georgia, Turkey, and Bulgaria. France have only played 1 game so far. You know, a lot of them have only just kicked off pretty much this international break. There's only Netherlands group, which have played about 4 or 5 games. England's group, of course, played 4 games. Bosnia's group played 4 games. Norway's group played 4 games. So the big groups have obviously played, but the little ones have only just kicked off this term. There's no point. There is no point to these qualifiers whatsoever. Mix up the qualifiers, please. Make the Nations League mean something more than just winning a pointless trophy by having it be about World Cup qualifiers as well. Maybe make that mean something, rather than basically go, here's a bunch of teams that are just here to make up the numbers, and we're going to throw them in a group in which only one team can qualify. The other team goes into another knockout stage, and basically what happens is that the big team always goes through. Every now and again, you might get a bit of an upset, but it's very, very rare that that's going to happen. It just seems completely pointless. It just seems completely pointless when you put it all into perspective like that. Thoughts on Salah having a dig on a Liverpool fan account on X for disrespecting Nunez and Diaz? I see it from both sides a little bit. I lean more towards Salah's side. But I also see it from the fans' perspective. Look, we'd be sat here lying to ourselves if we didn't think that on an individual player basis, Isak and Wirtz were not upgrades on Nunez and Diaz, right? On an individual player score, if you were to say, right, you can have one of Darwin Nunez or Alexander Isak, 99.999999999% of people are going Isak. If you were to say you can have Florian Wirtz or Luis Diaz, again, 99% of people or 90% of people, it might be slightly less with them being slightly different positions, one being on the left, one being more centrally. More will probably say Wirtz over Diaz. I can understand where he's coming from with that. I can also understand where Salah's coming from. Teammates of his, friends of his. I can understand where he's coming from. They're also Premier League champions. Wirtz is a Bundesliga champion. Isak is only a Carabao Cup winner. Like, I'm not trying to compare Bundesliga to the Premier League. I'm just saying that those two left as Premier League champions. Wirtz still has a lot to prove still at a young age. And, of course, he's still developing. Salah's friends with them. I understand where Salah's coming from. But I understand where the fan account was coming from in terms of they are upgrades. We'd be lying to ourselves if they weren't. I just don't think, and this is where I agree with Salah, by the way, I just don't think you need to throw out that comment. We can all think it. We can all know it. I just don't think you need to throw it out there. I just really don't. So I kind of applaud Salah in a way for calling it out, because I just don't think it needed to be called out. I think it could have been just left alone. I think it really could have just been left alone. Like, I don't think they needed to really say it. They could have just been, or if they were going to say it, they could have just said it in a more sort of respectful way. Just sort of, thank you for your contributions, but it's time to move on, or something along them lines. Because I think we could all agree that, especially in Darwin Núñez's case, it was time for Núñez to move on. Not just for Liverpool, but for the betterment and evolution of Darwin Núñez's career. So we can all agree on that level. But I just, like I say, I think there's either a more respectful way of putting it, or you just don't need to put it out there at all. One of those two things, which is where I agree with Salah on. It's like Saeed TV. He hate watches Man City and Liverpool. Meanwhile, his club are all below all standards. I never understand hate watches. Maybe I'm getting older and everything's just irritating me. I don't know. I don't know what this is, but I don't understand hate watch. I don't hate watch. If I'm to do a watch along of Man City versus Man United, let's say that this Sunday I did a watch along of Man City versus Man United. Let's say I did the Manchester derby. Of course, deep down, I dislike both teams. I hate Man United for the way that they ruined my childhood, and I hate Manchester City because, you know, they're, well, Man City. But I'm not going to say it's a hate along. I'm not going to say, I'm not going to sit there and, you know, disrespect them completely. I may throw the odd comment out there. That is, in my opinion, a bit humorous, or a bit of back and forth, a bit of banter with people or whatever. But I'm not going to sit there and hate them. I don't understand hate watchers. I really, really don't. It is so pointless. It's so pointless. Although the hate watchers that I do enjoy are the ones where they will constantly berate a player or one of the two teams throughout the entirety of the game, and then that player will score the winning goal, or that team will go on and win. Like, that bit does amuse me. But overall, hate watchers are pointless. Stupid things like that are pointless. I don't understand why people do it. Well, I do understand why people do it, but I don't understand why people engage with it. It's very, very strange to me. I didn't know Andy Carroll played for Dagenham and Redbridge. Yeah, it happened. He moved from France to Dagenham. That guy is going everywhere. That guy is like on a really weird footballing map tour that in about 10 years time, 10, 20 years time, you know how people do those kind of guess the career path, and they go, right, he started off at Newcastle, then he went to Liverpool, then he went to this club, that club. We're going to be sat there in about 20 years going, this is one of the craziest journeys ever. I thought Mario Balotelli's was crazy, but Andy Carroll is certainly trying to rival that. True story, I gave Messi a high five before he was famous during Youth World Cup in Netherlands, but Freddie Adu was also there and was meant to become the biggest player. This was in 2005. Freddie Adu, man. Big what-if story, man. Massive what-if story there. That's crazy, though, that if they're legit telling the truth and stuff, like, that's crazy. Respect that, man. Respect that. I did before he was famous, like a band you've heard, like support another big band that you went to see, and you're like, I heard them and I liked them before they were famous. It's quality. I like it. Luis Garcia was underrated like Salah. Yeah, absolutely. Big up, Wolf. How you doing? Well, my bro. But yeah, I agree. Luis Garcia was very, very good. 5'7", he's football heaven, and he drinks sangria. Who'd have thought it? Big old Bush Baptist, how you doing? Well, my bro. Lovely to have you on board with us this Monday afternoon. I hope you are well, my friend, and I hope you're keeping well with the international break currently going on. Let me know what you're up to, my dude. Salah can't really be underrated because he has constantly done what's asked of him for 8 seasons in a row. He's a gem. Who's calling him underrated? Who's calling Salah underrated? Who's calling Salah underrated? I will say this. I think he is underrated in terms of, I don't think history may be too kind to Mo Salah on certain aspects. You know, individual awards like Ballon d'Ors and things like that. You know, when people like judge it on Ballon d'Ors and stuff. I think in that aspect, I think he has been a little shortchanged, shall we say. In terms of everything else, though, yeah, I agree. Quality. A lot of good European teams will fail to qualify for the World Cup because second place only gets playoffs, and playoffs is a game and then a final, so it's not easy. Aren't they expanding the World Cup this year, or sorry, next year, though? They're making it bigger, aren't they? They're including more teams. And I do agree with you that if that is still to be the case, because I don't know if the format therefore changes or not, but I do agree with you that that makes it interesting. When we get to the knockouts for the World Cup, it does make it somewhat more interesting. But at the same time, why do we need to go through the whole rigmarole in the first place? Like, just make the groups. If you want more inclusion in the World Cup, you should just make the groups. But then again, you might have that same problem when you get to the World Cup. This is the problem you've got. You either make the groups to qualify either of the same level. So rather than go, we're going to take one team that's right at the top, we're going to take one team that's slightly below them, and we're going to take 3 teams that are just really, really low in the group. You just take a group of like 5 low teams, put them together. 5 top teams, put them together. But then the problem is that when you get to the actual major tournament, you probably will get the same thing that you would have got in the group stage. I don't know. It's difficult. It just seems pointless. It just seems pointless. All of this seems pointless. I guess they can't win now that I've said it out loud. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something here. I don't know. As it stands, some big teams will potentially miss out. Some big teams do. I mean, Norway have missed out for the past several years. Was it Italy that missed out in the last World Cup? I want to say it was Italy. I know it was a recent World Cup anyway. I know it was a recent World Cup that Italy missed out on. Might have been 2018, actually. I can't remember. Or maybe in both. I don't remember. I know some big European team missed out in recent years to qualify for the World Cup. But yeah, I know that some big teams do miss out, but you have to get past all of the ridiculous, let's go and thrash San Marino 8-0 before you get to that point. Let's go and then play Andorra and smash them 5-0, and let's go and play friggin' Luxembourg and all of that stuff. England playing in Eurovision Song Contest. Yeah. I mean, we might as well be doing that. Still got no pois. Famous last words. England might lose to Serbia tonight. Guess what, mate? Couldn't care less if we did. Couldn't care less if we did, bro. I couldn't care less if we did. Honestly, I couldn't care less. The moment I gave up watching England was probably the 2010 World Cup. That was probably no. What was the tournament where Harry Kane was taking corners? I want to say it was 2012, the Euros in 2012. Roy Hodgson? I want to say it was Roy Hodgson, 2012. I would probably say that was like the last straw for me. I would probably say that was the last straw where I actually cared. England got easy group. Germany is in trouble too. Yeah, Germany are a strange one. Then again, they've only played 2 games. Like, they'll be fine. And they've got the 2 big games that they've got out of their way are probably the toughest. So they'll beat Luxembourg, both home and away, and then they'll be fine. Germany will be fine. It's shocking how many World Cups Italy missed out on last few years, considering they also won it a few times. The problem with the Italy squad is it just seems a little bit unbalanced right now. Like, they just, striker-wise and attacking-wise, they don't seem to have that standout performer anymore. They just don't seem to have that. Got a good midfield though, decent midfield. Their defense obviously isn't as good as what it was a few years ago, but still okay enough. Got obviously a quality goalkeeper. But it's just their attack mainly. It just seems a little unbalanced. Haven't watched England since Gascoigne. Now that is going back away. Fair enough to you, my friend. Croatia might miss out. Sweden, Denmark, Poland too, all are in the playoffs. And the playoffs are difficult. Semi-final and final. Yeah, like I say, you have to get past all of the ridiculous San Marino, Andorra, Luxembourg kind of ridiculousness before you get to that point. So I do admit the knockouts do get interesting once they actually reach the sort of knockout bit. But at the same time, yeah, you have to kind of drag it out a little bit to get that far. You know what I mean? World Cup 2030 will be weird in 3 continents: Africa, South America, and Europe. I thought they were doing it in Uruguay. To mark 100 years of the World Cup. But then they decided to do this. And I'm assuming they're all going to have base camps. So if you are playing 3 games in the group stage, you're not playing 1 in Europe, 1 in Africa, and 1 in South America. Because that would just be ridiculous. And that would be stupid. And people already complain, oh, well, I had to go away to on a Tuesday night and play a game in Romania for the Europa League, and then I had to come back and play a game on Saturday or whatever. And it's I'm hoping there were base camps for the different teams around, and they may rotate or whatever. I don't know. It does seem like it is a stupid thing to do, though. I know it's we get more fans involved, and more fans can then go, and it saves on certain travel and stuff, but it doesn't. It's just stupid. I belong in the 1% of people who rate Diaz over Wirtz. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Like I say, they are different positions, so I understand why there might be a bit more debate with Diaz and Wirtz, but I just think age-wise, potential-wise, creativity-wise, end product-wise, I think Wirtz just has the edge. But, to each their own, man. That's between you two. Big up, Kinman. I hope you're doing well, my bro. Kinsman, sorry. My bad. I mispronounced your name there. First, hi. Hi yourself, bro. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Second, damn, you're right. My bad for the Mark Gahey moment. What was I right about? Remind me of the Mark Gahey moment. I need to remind him, bro. My memory is terrible. I do apologize. And third, do you think Mo Salah will score more than what he did this season? He won't score more than what he did last season. The reason is that we have more firepower in our attack. Isak, Ekatike, even Florian Wirtz to an extent. But I think he might either hit the same level or potentially get more assists. I think Salah could potentially get more assists this season. But yeah, I think that could possibly be the case. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Salah develop. But like I said, you're gonna have to remind me about that Mark Gay thing. What was I right about? I don't remember. I do apologize. Big up Rocco. How you doing, well, my bro? Stop joking, bro. What about? Again, you're gonna have to remind. I don't remember, bro. I don't remember. So you're gonna have to remind me what I'm joking about. But yeah, big up to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well, and I hope you're finding something to keep you going during this international break. Luxembourg is not bad nowadays, and England only beating Andorra 2-0 is kind of shocking. Andorra are part-time amateurs, some are butchers and mailmen. Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? Like, you should be beating them by a lot more, especially when you consider the amount of money, talent, whatever you want to call it, on that pitch from England. I only plucked. To be fair, I plucked Luxembourg out of the air as just a team that I could think of that, you know, doesn't pull up any trees really. So yeah, maybe a bit disingenuous. Looks like I've not really paid attention to much of Luxembourg, but at the same time, you get the idea. You kind of get the idea where I'm coming from, I hope. Last great England team had jumpers for goalposts. What a game that was! What a game that was! Jumpers for goalposts. Fair play. Did you see versus goal? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Quality free kick. It's great that we actually have two very good free kick takers. Now we just need some corner takers. If we get some good quality corner takers, maybe we'll start scoring a few. Maybe. Fingers crossed. That's the day, man. Like, the day we can be as consistent from corners as Arsenal, I would absolutely love it. Because I don't care for, like, set-piece FC ridiculousness. I throw it out there as a bit of banter, to be fair. But at the same time, like, I understand the set pieces are a big part of the game, and Arsenal have managed to find an unbelievable consistency with using them to their advantage. I would like us to start doing that, because we have so many set pieces that we just don't do anything with. We don't really do anything with them. I'd like us to do that more often. Big up Ozan is in the building. Are you doing well, my bro? Thoughts on the new green third kit? Yeah, I saw your tweet. I replied to you. It's good, man. Like I said, we've had green kits in the past. Although the last green kit I did buy, I put Robbie Keane on the back of it. It was an error on my part, but I will caveat that with I was 12 years old at the time. Or 13. I was 12 or 13 years old at the time. I will caveat that with that. I had Robbie Keane on the back of that green. I think it was like green with like a bit of black on it as well. Liverpool shirt from like 2008, 2009. And 6 months later, Keane got sold, which made that shirt completely pointless to wear. So, yeah, I'm sure my dad was very happy about spending that amount of money on me. But there you go. There you go. I like it. I like it, by the way. I do like it. It's a nice kit. Probably won't be getting it because they're friggin' expensive. But like I say, I don't mind it. I've seen us wear green kits before. And like I said to you earlier, I just don't believe most things. I don't believe until they're actually there and officially announced. And like I say, there are a number of times where there's been supposed kit releases and kit leaks and things of that nature. And then eventually it comes out and it's like, it's a different color, it's a different style, it's different lining or whatever. Like, it is what it is. About Ozan. I thought he was going to be actually signed until the last minute. Crystal Palace pulled the plug on a deal. Yeah. Palace did. I expected to go back for him in January. We shall see what happens. And I said that when Fabrizio Romano said it's a done deal, it means it should be part of the team. Yeah. This is the thing. A lot of people have called out Fabrizio this summer for basically going like, oh, you said this was like a here we go. You said it was this. You said it was that. Here we go is basically him saying it's a done deal. That doesn't mean it's complete until the guy is literally holding the shirt, all the paperwork has gone through, and the club have officially announced it. That doesn't necessarily mean it's done and dusted. We've seen a fair few times. Romano's done a few here we goes, and it hasn't come off. Gahey's just one of them. And it's not anything down to him. Like, it's not Romano that has suddenly... It's not like the club have gone, well, we're going to make Romano look out to be a right idiot here because we're actually going to stop this deal. They just stopped the deal from their own business end. Palace stopped it because that Igor Julio from Brighton didn't want to sign for Palace. And Glasner basically went, right, well, we don't really have enough cover to lose Gahey, so we're not going to lose Gahey. And if we do, I'm gone. I'm walking out this door and I'm not coming back. Simple as that. Simple as that. But yeah, like I say, he's got a lot of things wrong. I think he's basically given the here we go for João Pedro to Newcastle about 2 or 3 times. And that's obviously not happened. So, yeah, like I say, there's been a lot of people jumping on Fabrizio's back this summer. A lot of people, giving David Ornstein the kind of GOAT title. Indy Kyler's stock has risen this summer. So we shall see, man. We shall see what happens. We shall see who emerges as the next sort of transfer GOAT. But like I say, it's nothing to do with Ornstein. Ornstein's just reporting on what he's heard and what he's and obviously what he's been told. Kinsman until they wear the shirt not signed. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there you go. No worries, bro. This is what we do. We talk about things here. We talk about things and we hope to we don't like patronize or we don't like call each other out. We try and sit down and we try and talk about things and have interesting and exciting talks and debates. That's what we do. Good conversation, and hopefully we all learn a little something along the way. Fair play to Man United. Apparently, in the last minute, Grimsby had one player who was ineligible, but Man United decided not to make an official complaint. Fair play to Man United. Rules are rules, though. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about how legal or illegal that was, because I do feel like United should have gone in on that. And there probably is a reason why they've not. So I don't necessarily know if we're getting the full story on that. I've not really read into it, I will admit. But there must be a reason why, because although it would be embarrassing for United, it is still an illegal move by Grimsby, which maybe should fall out of United's hands, and maybe the EFL should therefore step in and maybe do something with Grimsby if that was the case. But with United not seemingly willing to pursue it, and with the EFL seemingly happy with not doing anything about it, I kind of feel like there's probably more to it than that. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It just seems a very weird situation. Like I say, there's a money aspect involved there. We know that United have been trying to do everything and anything to scrape and save a few quid here and there. They've made a ton of redundancy cuts, a ton of cuts and things of that nature, and things like that. So getting to the next round of the Carabao Cup would certainly not have been. It's not exactly like it's, you know, you're hitting the jackpot, but it's certainly still a fair amount of money to make it to the next round of a competition. That, of course, you know, you never know. Maybe Man United go on and click, and maybe United get a favourable run, and maybe United do actually go on to make it far in that competition, which obviously builds up the money over time. So I don't know. I don't know whether it was out of embarrassment that United just didn't bother to pursue it, or whether or not there's more to it than meets the eye. But yeah, whatever it is whatever it is, man. Our set pieces be better with our Italian centre back. Need more goals from the back four. Considering we have a lot of set pieces, we have a lot of corners, we have a fair amount of free kicks as well, and the vast majority of them end up being completely missed, or the vast majority of them end up just not getting in the right area or being defended. More needs to happen in that area. More needs to happen. Like, there's got to be something as to why no one wants to copy Arsenal. Because all Arsenal do is they go, right, left footer on the right foot on the left, in swingers, right underneath the crossbar. Right underneath the crossbar. And 9 times out of 10, the consistency is unreal and unbelievable. Declan Rice on the left-hand side, and Bukayo Saka on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, sorry, or Martin Odegaard sometimes. The consistency is unreal. So it begs the question, why doesn't anybody else or everybody else follow suit? Why does no one else do what they do? It seems simple. It doesn't exactly seem like it would take a genius to work out the kind of secret formula of this incredible set-piece coach, which, by the way, if Arsenal do go on and win the Premier League, he should probably get the statue outside the Emirates and not Arteta. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It's strange to me. Very strange. Good show. Have you changed your mind on the top four? Ooh. I changed my mind on 2 aspects of my predictions at the beginning of the season. I've changed my mind on Man City being second. I think Man City will be 4th. And therefore, I think Arsenal will probably be second. So I've swapped those 2. And I've also thought United will be swapping with Tottenham. So I'm putting Tottenham 5th. And yeah, United 7th. They're the 2 positions I'm swapping. Well, 4 positions really, but you get what I mean. They're the kind of 4 teams that I'm swapping around. I still think the top 4 will be the top 4, but I just don't think it will be in the order that I stated. I think they're the only 2 things I would swap. I think Tottenham will finish higher. I think United will finish lower, and I think City will finish lower, but Arsenal will finish higher. And the main reason for that is just because I've seen City's defence and I thought it would improve. I thought Guardiola would get something out of them players. I thought that, you know, he'd bring those players in that he signed in January. They'll have had time to gel in by now. And they still look pathetic defensively. They still look shaky. They still look scared. They still look like they're second guessing themselves. And Pep Guardiola himself just looks like he doesn't have that fire anymore. he looks like he doesn't have that fire anymore to continue. It looks like he's lost a bit of his edge, a bit of his hunger. That's just from my perspective, anyway. But yeah, I like it. Who are your top four, by the way? People that are in the chat right now, people that are in the building. Let me know who you see top four. Have you guys had sudden changes of heart, or are you sticking with your original predictions? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling in the comments in the chat. Big up Ozan. Don't let that kid say, "There we land. There we land. There we land." Oh, gee. Everyone wants a catchphrase now. Everybody wants a catchphrase. Here we go. Ornstein Bomber. Everybody wants a catchphrase, man. I'm not so sure. Are you excited for this week's match? Yeah, absolutely I am. And it's not just Liverpool either. Like, obviously I'm excited for Liverpool's game, and I cannot wait to see, hopefully, Alexander Isak in action. And, you know, I can't wait to see the continued development of the likes of Ekatike and Wirtz together, and obviously Gakpo back in the lineup, and the potential of maybe seeing more Rio Engamoa, as well as, obviously, hopefully, Mohamed Salah finally arriving this season. But I'm also interested to see some other games as well. The Arsenal-Forest game should be interesting with everything that's going off with Nottingham Forest right now. The Manchester Derby, of course, is on Sunday. That's going to be massive. That is going to be a massive game on Sunday. The Manchester Derby is going to be absolutely huge. And, of course, later on in the week, I will be putting out my predictions video on that to see what I think and feel about that game. And there's some other interesting games as well. Like I say, we're Sunday. I might have said Saturday earlier. We're Sunday. Of course we're Sunday. Why did I think we weren't Sunday? Again, it is Burnley. Not to be disrespectful to Burnley before anyone says. But yeah, like you know, another London derby, West Ham versus Tottenham. That's going to be huge, especially because of obviously what's happened this week with Daniel Levy. I'm imagining that there's probably going to be a lot of Tottenham fans excited about the potential of a new era and the potential of a big Tottenham sale as well in the process. Chelsea are taking on Brentford, which should be a win for Chelsea, but fingers crossed that Brentford at home can do something there. Everton, Aston Villa, going to be interesting to see the development of that one, considering Everton have had a fine start to the season. Aston Villa, not so much. Newcastle versus Wolves. Newcastle get to see their new strikers in action for the first time. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, man. It's going to be a very, very interesting weekend ahead. I can't wait. I can't wait for that. So, yeah, it's going to be a very exciting weekend, man. I can't wait for club football to finally come back. If United never had Maguire be bad, why can't Van Dijk score more? I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is. Van Dijk, as the colossus he is, should have more goals. It's bizarre, man. It's bizarre. Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, City, Tottenham, Newcastle, United 12th is what Wolf says here. I'd go along with that. I was toying with the idea of Chelsea in second, to be fair. My only issue with Chelsea is I want to see them when the Champions League kicks off. I want to see how they handle 2 proper games a week. I want to see how they will develop with that. And I also want to see later on in the season, does the Club World Cup catch up with them? Will there be issues with fitness, issues with injuries? I just want to know if that will be the case with Chelsea or not going forward. So I think there are a few question marks over Chelsea, which is why I was debating putting them in second or third or even fourth at times. But I think with the way that City have started the season, I'm expecting Guardiola to fight back. But the issue that I've got with City and Guardiola right now is that their next two games are the Manchester derby, and then they have Arsenal. We seriously could be looking at a situation in a couple of weeks' time where City only have 3 points from their opening 5 games. It could be a real possibility. If you're sat there thinking that United have got no chance of winning against Manchester City on Sunday, you might be lying to yourself. Now, I'm not saying they will, but what I am saying is that they have a massive chance, Man United, of winning that game. Big chance. Big chance. Ozan's gone with Liverpool first, Chelsea second, City third, and Arsenal in fourth. I can go along with that. I think it is possible. Arsenal are another one that I'm... on paper, they should. But games aren't won on paper. And games are won by the mind of Mikel Arteta. And he's a coward. So we shall see. Big up AR, hope you're doing well, my bro. I'm good, man. I'm good. Hope you are as well. Hope you're keeping well in this international break. And like he says there, guys, please like, share, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. Would be greatly appreciated by myself. The support on the channel has been absolutely unbelievable. I cannot thank you enough for all of that and for you obviously joining me on this very fine Monday afternoon. You guys are absolutely freaking awesome. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you, and thank you even more. AR says that we need to resolve the Mark Gay situation in January 2026. If we don't, we're either very, very confident that we can get him on a free transfer amongst all the other transfer potential places that you could go to, or we've let one slip through our fingers. And I'm hoping it's the earlier one. Like I say, I think I would probably sacrifice 20 odd million to get him in January rather than run the risk of losing him completely. I think it's completely worth it for a player of his caliber, his quality, his Premier League reputation and his Premier League provenness. I think it is totally worth it to go in January, spend 20 odd million on this kind of player, because otherwise you go in the summer and if you lose him to a Real Madrid, if you lose him to another team, you're only going to have to pay double, triple the amount for a player that is going to be even slightly similar to him. So you might as well play the percentages, right? I'm just throwing it out there. Burnley versus Liverpool, they will be low block. Yeah, I'm hoping that's why Florian Wirtz might get a bit more freedom, might get a bit more in advanced and dangerous positions. And we might see the best of Florian Wirtz in that game. I'm hoping that that will be the case for when we take on Burnley. No chance City lose to United. That's if happens, Pep is getting the sack. Like I say, man, don't rule out United. Don't rule out United in that game. United play better in the big games, especially under Amorim. You look at last season, Amorim and United, they drew to Liverpool, they beat City, they drew to Arsenal, and I'm pretty sure they drew to Chelsea. I can't remember for sure if they did. I'm pretty sure they did draw to Chelsea. I could be wrong on that one. In my head, it's right, but my memory is terrible. My memory needs to be put on a treadmill to be jogged. But I seem to remember it was a draw, but I could be so wrong. I could be so wrong on that. So I do apologise if that is the case. But like I say, drew to Arsenal, drew to Liverpool, beat Man City, played very well against Arsenal right at the beginning of the season. They just could not score a single goal. They are very good at creating opportunities. They're just not good at taking those opportunities. That's the problem with United right now. And that's why I say don't rule out United playing against this City squad who are poor defensively, who are shaky, who are nervous, and not getting a result. I'm just throwing it out there. Webb says if Konate doesn't sign his sale January and Liverpool wait till summer for Gahey. I mean, we're probably not going to get any money for Konate in January, potentially. But like I say, I think it is completely worth dropping at most 20 million on Gahey. I think 20 million, maybe with some add-ons, maybe with like a small add-on or something, and maybe with like a percentage of sale clause, like we supposedly had when we actually got the here we go from Romano, would probably be enough to twist Palace's arm, providing, of course, they get a replacement. Because, of course, we have to obviously acknowledge that Liverpool are constantly in a transfer domino situation in which the selling team need to get a replacement. I'm joking. How many goals have United scored last 5 games from open play? I can't imagine it's many, but they definitely created a ton of chances. They just can't stick the ball into the back of the net. They're up there. They're up there for created XG and things like that. So I'm not, like I say, I'm not denying your point either. I'm just saying that I wouldn't completely rule it out as United get nothing. United could very well get something from the game, whether it be a draw or whether they actually snatch a win, Amad Diallo style. Just throwing it out there. Chiesa wouldn't go to Besiktas. We need cover, reinforcements, and depth. Depends how badly this whole leaving him out of the Champions League group has really taken a toll on him. Depends how badly that situation is. We need cover for Van Dijk and Gravenberch's position. That's why I believe that we'll save Gravenberch's position for next summer. And obviously we'll go in for Gahey in January. Like I say, I'm looking at Adam Wharton. I'm hoping that Adam Wharton is the guy we go for because I think he's absolutely quality and I think he'll be perfect for what Arne Slot is trying to do in that position. I think Adam Wharton is the way to go. Just means we'll have to deal with Steve Parish again. But yeah, I think Adam Wharton is the way to go to help for that midfield area. Really do. Really, really do. Chiesa will stay as Frimpong is still injured. Isn't he back for Burnley? Or was it the next international break? I thought it was this one. I could be wrong though. He could potentially make his comeback against Burnley. We shall see, though. I wouldn't probably risk him against Burnley. I'd probably save him more for the Champions League game. But, maybe give him a 15-minute run out just to kind of test it if obviously everything is seemingly okay. we shall see on Frimpong. We shall see. Depth and cover are Endo, Jones, Gomez, Leone, Rio, and Yone, Mamadashvili, Woodman, Bradley, Robbo, Dans, Reece Williams, Bajcetic, Karen Ramsey. Yeah, it doesn't exactly read for great reading the later you go into the depth, but it's been a big summer. It's been a big summer in which we've had a big clear out. We've brought in some big players. But the beautiful part about that is that with the exception of midfield, in which I do think we need a big player for next year, we can go out and make these little transfers now. We can go out and make these little transfers just to fill the squad out a little bit more. So next season we can go out and maybe splash like Wharton. Palace are probably going to want 100 mil. Let's just throw that out there as just a hypothetical figure. Palace are probably going to want 100 mil for Wharton. We go and get that. We probably go on, and we obviously get the Harvey Elliott money next year as well. We haven't got the Harvey Elliott money yet. We get that next year as well. Endo's going to leave, of course. Robertson's probably going to be leaving as well. Both of their contracts, I believe, are up next year. There might be one or two other lesser players that are out as well. We then have a little bit of money to play around with, plus whatever we get from whatever we do this year in terms of success. And we may even have to move on like a big player. Who that big player is, I don't necessarily know. Obviously, Konate could be off the wage bill as well. Let's not forget that. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be interesting to see unfold. But like I said, I don't think we need like a complete overhaul again. We just need to fill up the squad. With the exception of midfield, it's just about filling up the squad with decent enough rotation options. Damn. Romano did put a video out, what I said about Gahey and Konate. We shall see, man. Like I say, I don't know. I thought this Konate situation should have been tied up a long time ago. Is he staying? Is he going? Is he just trying to use Liverpool to get a better deal at Real Madrid? Is he trying to use Real Madrid to get a better deal at Liverpool? I don't know, man, but I'm sick of it. I'm sick of these situations. I was sick of it last year with Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent. I'm sick of it this year with Konate. If you want to go, just go. If you want to stay, sign a frigging deal. Like, I'm done with this whole will he stay, will he go kind of ridiculousness. Like, just sort it out, you know? And the Gahey one, like I say, back in January. I would safely assume we're going to be back in January. Apparently, Liverpool aren't going for Mark Gahey in the January window. I think we will. I think we will, purely based on I can probably see Gomez or Konate getting injured between now and then. So purely based on the probability of that happening, I'm probably going to say that we will probably go in for him in January. Like I say, unless we have insane amount of confidence that we can definitely get him in the summer on a free transfer, and no one else is going to swoop in at the 11th hour and take him off of our hands. Not a Chelsea, not a Real Madrid, not a Barcelona, no one like that. Unless we have an insane amount of confidence and an insane amount of confidence that Konate and Gomez can last till the end of the season without injuring themselves by breathing or by, walking, then, then I will probably say that he probably does wait until the summer. But like I say, I don't want to run that risk. Me personally, I don't want to run that risk. I just go in for them right there and then. Do you think Giovanni Leone will play this week? No, but I think the week after, I think, is Carabao Cup. I could be wrong on the timeline, but I know the Carabao Cup game is up very, very soon, Southampton. So I reckon he'll play then. I reckon we'll get to see him in action in that game. Bajcetic, how's he doing? No news my end. No idea about Bajcetic. It seems like he's going to continue his development with the first team, but it's very unlikely that he's going to be featured much this season, it seems. Palace wanted 100 mil or around 79. Now England call up 120 mil. Yeah, and he's going to have 3 years left on his deal as well. So if he continues his great development, it's going to be another Isak type situation. The only difference is that, with all due respect to Palace are like a bit below Newcastle. So it might be slightly easier to get him out of Palace than it was Newcastle. Plus, Palace we know are a bit of a selling club, and they might also want to get some money back for the Mark Gay situation, which they've completely messed up themselves. But yeah, so it might be a little difficult, but at the same time, it might actually be a little easier. So I know it doesn't make sense what I've just said there, but it'll probably be slightly easier in terms of club stature, but slightly more difficult in terms of awkwardness, especially with how we've dealt with Palace this summer. So we shall see. Canate situation. Do you think it's unfair what's happening to Mudryk? They should give him the verdict in reasonable time and not drag it out over years, which wastes his prime. Guilty or not, let's get it moving. Wasn't he already found guilty, or is he, or is this sort of an appeal? Is this sort of like an appeal type thing? I thought he was already found guilty. So he was charged in June, faced up to a 4-year ban. Is it just the verdict we're waiting on, or I've not been really following it since it all kind of hit. I've not really been following it, in all honesty, but I know it all hit, and I know that a lot of people, well, certain ones are on the fence about it because it's not exactly like he's improved in that time, or at least not a great deal anyway. As Liverpool breaking transfer record fees for players, we could not attract. Now we are Barca real high on transfers. Like I say, man, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. We missed out on a ton of transfers over the years. People laughed at us. And now we are getting those transfers in, and people are now hating us, which is why the title of the video is Rivals Rattled by Liverpool. And the reason why they are rattled is because they can't quite handle it. Are the rules hurting teams like Palace, Villa and Brighton? No, not really. I'm assuming you mean like PSR and FFP stuff. Any team can build. any team can progress. PSR and FFP are just there so that you don't get these crazy owners come in, splash the cash just wherever and whenever they want on ridiculous signings and players and things like that, and then go, right, I'm bored, I'm off. Oh, about the money, I don't know where you're going to get that money from, but good luck finding out. That's why those rules are there. That's just the point of it. But fan bases of those kind of teams in particular, and Newcastle, basically use PSR and FFP as a sort of, but they're hindering us. They're stopping us from growing. Well, I know that the restrictions have tightened over the years, but Tottenham managed to grow out of them. Chelsea managed to grow out of them. City managed to grow out of them. Teams managed to grow out of them and get stronger, get bigger, get more successful. There's no doubt in my mind that teams like Villa and Newcastle can do the same. Brighton, definitely not. Brighton are very good with their recruitment. The only problem with Brighton is that bigger teams just cherry pick their best players. So they're constantly having to kind of go through like a regeneration of their best players. That's the problem with Brighton. Problem with Villa is that I think half of their spending since coming back into the Premier League hasn't exactly gone too well over the years, I would probably say. Palace, again, they get these great players, they move them on, but they're then having to kind of find new ones. So it's not about PSR, FFP holding them back. It's just about having a good infrastructure that can, and a good recruitment team that can constantly find you these players. I say Brighton, look out for Brighton this season. They're my team to I think push on this season. I said at the beginning of the season, I stand by it. I think Brighton, just watch out for them. Just watch out for them. Law needs to be strict on drug cheats, corruption, bad refereeing decisions, and money laundering. Let's say I need to read more into the Mudryk stuff to really know, but I don't know why they drag things like this out for too long. I mean, we still haven't heard about Man City's 115 charges. That was meant to be in like March, April time, by the way. We were meant to hear something about it. It's now 5 or 6 months on, and nothing has happened since. Is it a case that they just want everybody to forget about it, which is why they've not talked about it? Is this a sweeping it under the carpet type of deal that we're going through, right? I don't know. I don't know what it is. 115 charges just vanished into thin air like that. Personal question, why do you do this channel? Thanks. Honest question, your thoughts. Thanks. I do this because I like talking football, bro. I just enjoy talking football. I enjoy talking football. I enjoy engaging in any sort of football conversation, whether it is at work, at home, in the street, wherever. You can like literally talk football to me and we will talk as much as we can. It is the one conversation in life where I can genuinely just sit here for hours and engage in it and not be bored in the slightest. Like, I just enjoy talking about football so much. So I thought, why not try and build something out of that? Why not try and build like a community out of it? Why not try and build something out of just talking about football? Because I just do it all the time. So, and if this does lead somewhere, then fine, fair enough. But at the same time, I'm enjoying the community we are building up here. And I'm enjoying interacting with you all. Like I say, I can't thank you all enough for the love and support for the channel. I can't thank you all enough for being here on these live streams. And I understand it's difficult at times because sometimes I do ramble and I do go off on tangents. And sometimes it is difficult to follow exactly what my point that I'm trying to get across. But I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your time. And you guys are absolutely awesome. So thank you. And you keep on like posing these these great questions and these thoughts and comments and stuff. So yeah, I encourage you all to keep doing it. Like I say, and I keep doing it, man. Keep doing it. Like I enjoy the interaction with you all. Let me know what you guys are doing. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling. Let me know if you guys are going out somewhere today or doing whatever. Like not just building up on a footballing level, but a personal level as well. So yeah, I really do appreciate that. Casper, you've given me a name, and I hate names because I butcher them so bad. Really, really, really. I don't want to say this name because I'm going to butcher it. We're just going to call him Casper. We are just going to call him Casper because I am scared that I'm going to butcher the name. Yeah, we're going to call him Casper because I have been looking at that name and I don't know how the hell you pronounce it. I genuinely don't know how to pronounce it. We're just going to call him Casper, okay? We're going to call him Casper. As Wolf says, Casper the Ghost, Casper the Friendly Ghost. Casper is going to replace Ten Hag as the new Bayer Leverkusen manager. Off the top of my head, do I know a lot about this guy? Off the top of my head. I'm not so sure I do. Or I should do. Do I? Should I? Should I? Oh, he was Denmark manager for the past few years. Mm-hmm. I don't know a lot about him. I don't know a lot about him other than Danish national team. And they were not a bad squad. They were not bad at all. But yeah, we shall see, man. We shall see. I can't honestly say a lot more about that. I don't really know a lot about him. I can't do what you do, but enjoy the content. I appreciate that, man. But like I say, anybody can do, as long as you've got some half decent opinions, at the very least, some you can somewhat try and back it up as I try to do. Like you can do it. Like if you want to do it, do it. Like I say, I'm just seeing how far I can take this. Like I don't know if this will lead anywhere, and if it doesn't, the community I built up is still great as it is. But we shall see, man. We shall see. Villa's start to the season has been shocking. They missed out on Champions League barely last season. Expected better from them. Yeah, it's a bit weird. I was expecting a better start from Villa, but I don't even know what's really gone off with them, to be honest. I mean, obviously getting smashed by Palace. Smashed by Palace, beaten by Brentford, which was a shock. And then, of course, they lost to Newcastle. In a game that Newcastle should have won, probably would have won if they had a striker. But yeah, the Brentford one especially is the biggest shock. And then I look at the next couple of games. Everton, who have started off the season really, really well. And then Sunderland, who so far 6 points out of 9, and those 6 points have come at home. And Villa are taking on Sunderland at home. So it might just be an early season bounce for Sunderland, but we shall see. Maybe we shall see. There are channels 100 times worse than yours with 100 times more subs. I don't get it. maybe because you don't upload with flashy edits and you just do long format. I think that's something I might need to look into a little bit. I'm not saying to go overboard on the kind of edit side of it, because I think for things like football content creation, I don't think you need to go overboard on that. I'd like to do more live streams. It's just given when time allows me to do so. So I'd like to go live more, maybe going live more, and especially at times where breaking news happens may help grow the channel a little bit more than what it is right now. But again, it kind of goes back to what I was saying at the top of the live stream. Like, I'm not saying like my content is incredible, and I'm sure that there are certain things that I don't really say properly, and my points don't really get put across in the best possible way. But it goes back to what I said before. Football content creators and things like that on places like Twitter, X, all of the kind of social media, where they aren't great because all they do is engagement farm, they rage bait, they throw wild comparisons and comments out there for the sake of just gaining notoriety. I don't necessarily do that, man. Like, I try and be balanced. I try and be fair as much as possible. And the opinions that I do throw out there are going to be based on mainly facts. I'm not saying that every opinion I throw out there is based on mainly facts. There will be some that are like gut feelings or, personal beliefs or whatever. But I try and be fair. I try and look at things from all different sides and all different perspectives. And I don't try and play the game of, throwing wild and random things out there. I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh, Mo Salah is better than Lionel Messi, because of course that's not the case. I love Mo Salah, but he's not on Lionel Messi's level. I'm not going to throw that out there. I'm also not going to say that Eden Hazard is better than Mo Salah, because that is just ridiculous. But yeah, I'm just trying to just do my own thing, and like I say, I'm proud and I'm happy with the community I've built so far. Like I say, hopefully it does continue. Hopefully this does go somewhere. But if it doesn't, fine, fair enough. But yeah, the plan is to hopefully get some more time to go live. The plan is to hopefully, do some more watch-alongs of certain games and things like that. And maybe to get more involved with the community as well. Maybe I'll start, collaborating with some other people that are in the community. I'd love to do that a bit more. It's just finding the time to do it. Like, my current situation is timing wise not the best, shall we say. And that's fine as well, because again, I'm happy where I'm at with my personal life, so it's all good there. But like I say, I will try and do this whenever I can. I will definitely try to do this wherever I can, because at the end of the day, I love and enjoy talking football, and I love and enjoy talking with you guys. And that's just the way it is right now. Casper the Ghost, absolutely. That keeper guy was that Casper guy was the Danish national team coach for a long time. Yeah, I just looked him up. I thought I recognized the name as much as I can't pronounce it, but I couldn't think where. I'd heard it from before. But yeah, Danish national team, because I think he was in charge when they took on England. Was it England? The Euros, maybe? I think it was the Euros. It might not have even been England. This is what I'm saying. Like, my memory is terrible. I want to say it was England in the Euros, and I want to say he was the head coach, and that's probably right where I know him. But at the same time, I genuinely could just be making that up. it might not have happened. Did England even play Denmark in the Euros? I'm pretty sure they did. But now that I'm sat here explaining it, I'm starting to doubt myself. This is my memory just being Internet Explorer settings. Slow. I have modded on loads of channels, but they forget you, and when super chats come in, you're dust. I promise. Well, I'm not gonna say I promise because I never know. Because like I say, my memory's terrible. To the best of my memory's ability, like I say, if that should ever come to that, I will remember who was here to help me lay the foundations for this channel, shall we say? If that ever does come about. Still a way off. I'm still a way off, but like I say, I'm happy that you're all here. I appreciate the support you guys are showing me. You guys are absolutely awesome. And we nearly and we nearly wanted Tielemans back when glad to have boys back buying talent. Tielemans is all right. Tielemans, like, he's not amazing. He's not like world class or anything, but Tielemans is a solid acquisition. You know, if he was backup to, if he was like backup, I wouldn't mind him as a backup. I wouldn't mind him as a backup player, to be honest. Not someone to start. He ain't going to start over McAllister or Gravenberch. But he's okay as a sort of squad building player. If you could do a video outside of ground, even food or other bits would be good. Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to build up my confidence a little bit before I start doing more stuff outside. I'm not exactly the most confident of people, and especially when I'm outside in public, like that kind of thing does give me a little bit of anxiety in that respect. So maybe I will start doing some more football stuff outside. I don't know, maybe go to a few games, maybe do some vlogs or something. I don't know, maybe do some match day vlogs, something like that in the future. That could also be an avenue I go down. Because I'd like to do that. I'd like to travel to more football grounds, and I'd like to do the whole sort of shebang that way. But yeah, like I say, it's going good right now. I'm happy with what's going on. I'm happy with you guys. You guys are absolutely awesome. It's good, man. It's good. I try to follow small channels more. Help as being in. I can't speak. I try to follow small channels more. Help as being in the long stream for years. Find the real true fans content. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, and obviously I don't know people in this industry, especially the bigger pioneers of this kind of area of work, shall we say. But what I will say is like, I don't know how genuine the top ones truly are in terms of, it's like I had sort of concerns with like Redmen over the years. Like, do they genuinely put out what they want to put out, or do they kind of sugarcoat it a little bit to sort of get on the club's good side in order to get the interviews? You know what I mean? Like, do they sugarcoat what they say in order to be like, look, we respect the club and we like the club and we will never say a bad word about the club. Now, can we get that interview with Mo Salah? Can we get that interview with Andy Robertson? Can we get that interview with Virgil van Dijk? Like that kind of thing. I've never quite, gone on that kind of. I've kind of gone on that feel of whether or not certain big channels do that and how genuine they are. And I'm not calling them out because obviously I don't have any proof of that, but I've always just had that sort of concern in my head, I will say. But yeah, I think there are some underrated channels out there that probably do deserve some bigger followings. But yeah, hopefully one day that will be the case, because there are some channels out there that have got quite big followings, like you say, and I'm struggling to find out why that is. Live your dream, don't be a sheep. I respect that. Bro, this is the thing. When I started this, I basically said to people that I talked to about it, I was basically like, look, I like talking about football. I enjoy it. And I enjoy talking it with my friends as well. But why not take it bigger than that, to hopefully trying to build a community online where we can just have a place where we can talk about it more and more. And I said, like, if it leads to something, amazing. If I if I can turn this into like a job or something, which is, like I say, a long way away, from potentially happening. But if it can turn into something, then I'm going to be working something that I enjoy doing, which is not going to feel like working at all. So if it does turn into something, amazing. If it doesn't, I'm still enjoying it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm still enjoying building up this community. I'm still enjoying engaging with you guys. I'm still enjoying talking this absolute ramble and nonsense, or trying to do it every single day at least. But yeah, happy days, man. Happy days. You need to go out, bro. Watch movies. Jack Nicholson. Is this as good as it gets? You're a good kid. Yeah, I need to get out more. There's just too much football. There's just too much football. My daughter starts college tomorrow, age 16, doing an I can't even say the word architecture course. Wish her luck. Good luck to her, man. Good luck to her. And fingers crossed that she enjoys it. Fingers crossed that she is going to get a lot out of it. Fingers crossed to her, man. So good luck to her from me, and I'm sure from the rest of this insane and amazing community. Yeah, good luck to her, man. Fingers crossed that college does go well for her. And yeah, absolutely amazing for her doing architecture. I rate it. That's cool. That's interesting. That's like hopefully that does set her up for something long-term successful wise. Like I say, you got to start somewhere, man. You got to start somewhere, and it's never too late either. Never too late. Don't know why this sounded like sort of motivational channel, but it is. It's never too late. No matter what age, no matter where you are, no matter what is happening, it's never ever too late. So if you can take one thing away from this 2-hour stream of talking about how terrible international breaks are, about saying that Liverpool and Isak and Florian Wirtz in particular are under heavy scrutiny from rival fans, about how whatever else we talked about, it's never ever too late. Big up to everybody. Big up to you all. Last question. Your best Liverpool player ever? From my era, it has to be Gerrard. I was too. I'm obviously too young to know the likes of Dalglish and Rush and players like that. I'm exactly. I'm too young to know them. And people will say like, "Oh, well, why don't you just go and watch a highlight reel?" Because a highlight reel doesn't give you the full story of what they were like. So I can't compare players that I don't watch week in, week out with players that I do watch week in, week out. Gerrard obviously was the one I watched week in, week out. Strangely, it was Michael Owen that got me into both football and Liverpool. Like, Michael Owen was my hero. at the time he was playing for Liverpool. I remember like getting into Liverpool purely because I walked in on my dad watching football, and I think Liverpool had just scored, and I think Michael Owen had just scored. And I remember going, who's that? Michael Owen. What team does he play for? Liverpool. I like this. I like football. I like Liverpool. And that's where that kind of all started for me. And then when he left, I remember my dad asking me, do you want to still support Liverpool, or are you going to be a Real Madrid fan to follow Michael Owen? And I said, no, I'm staying with Liverpool. Even at that young age, I was still like, no, the club is bigger than the player. I will stick with Liverpool, and I'm going to move on to my favourite player being Steven Gerrard. And I'm so freaking glad that I did. Because what that guy managed to achieve, unbelievable. And I will never quite forgive the club and how we were ran at the time, that we never gave him a Premier League title. Never quite forgive the old regime for not obviously pulling their finger out more and getting him what he deserved in a Premier League title. And never quite forgive, what happened during the Gerrard slip season. I'll never quite forgive the club for that. But at the same time, just my hero, my inspiration. Yeah, Gerrard was it, man. Gerrard was absolutely it for me. And like I say, there have been some quality players over the years, but he's the one that I watch week in, week out. Everybody else was before that. And we've had some quality players during his time as well. Fernando Torres during his prime was unbelievable. Luis Suarez was insanely good. Absolutely love watching him. Xabi Alonso, of course, was quality. Sami Hyypiä was solid as a rock. Pepe Reina was a good goalkeeper in his prime. We've had quite a few good players in different years and different eras. Gerrard, be all and end all. My favourite player right now is actually McAllister. Like, I love Salah. I love Salah to pieces. Of course, he's like the main guy. But I don't know. Like, I guess it's just because he's a midfielder, I guess. And he's in that sort of Gerrard sort of role, I think, from McAllister. But absolutely adore Alexis McAllister. Like I said, I would have got McAllister on the back of my shirt if I still believed that, I could pull off having a name on the back of my shirt. Big up RS who's here. I hope you're doing well, my bro. Do you agree with Owen that manager and staff national team should be from that nation only? I used to believe in that idea. I used to believe in the idea that, if you are the English national team, you should have an English manager. The same way that if you are Spanish, you should be therefore only able to go for the Spanish national team manager's position. I used to think that way. However, I suddenly come to realize that I don't care for that argument anymore. It's not a hill I'm willing to die on anymore. And it's mainly because England national team doesn't have a great English national managers. And of course, I think maybe the further you go, maybe there will be other nations that have the same kind of feeling. So I used to have that belief when I was younger. I've since given up on that belief, in all honesty. It's not really a hill that I'm prepared to die on in that aspect. So, yeah, good question, though. Good question. Anybody else feel the same way? Anybody else agree that national teams should only have managers of their own nationality? Or do you think that, Thomas Tuchel being England manager is wrong? All right, depending on where you see it. Let me know. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Kenny, absolutely, man. Kenny. King Kenny. Kenny. I missed the mop head hairstyle. Like I say, I've watched some highlights of him, but I just feel it's a bit disingenuous because I didn't watch him properly, like week in, week out. And, amazing player, quality player. But I don't know. I don't feel like I don't feel like I can compare because I didn't watch them in that era. I'm watching them back, so to speak. I don't know. It's sort of weird. I just don't think you can do it. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't feel like I have the credibility, should I say, to be able to look back on players of yesteryear and go, these players are better than this player. This player is better than that player. That kind of thing. And like I said, Kenny was amazing, and I've heard so many stories about how amazing he was. I've watched so many things waxing lyrical about that man. But yeah, I don't necessarily think like I can kind of compare because I didn't grow up in that era. I didn't watch that era week in, week out. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. If Steven Gerrard and Brendan Rodgers did end up winners of the Premier League, do you think the Klopp era would happen? It would have been the butterfly effect. Yeah, I mean, there is that argument as well to suggest that things could have turned out very differently. Jurgen Klopp might have actually ended up going to Manchester United potentially if Brendan Rodgers didn't mess up the league and if Gerrard didn't slip and all of that kind of stuff. So maybe in hindsight, although it would have been incredible and obviously amazing for Gerrard to have won a Premier League title, there is that argument. That is a very, very good point, Ozan. Fair play. Football players are like toys, better made years ago to fragile these days. They're more athletic these days. I give them that. They're more athletic, but yes, that might make them a bit more fragile, like you say. But then again, there is a lot more games, there's a lot more intensity. But then again, teams didn't have as big a squads these days as they did in years gone by. And a big part of that is because we now have 5 substitutions rather than 3. So it's an interesting debate to have. Question: so England should have enjoyed. Question: so England should enjoy. I think I get what you're on about. I'm not 100% sure. England manager as we have English players, or do we now play German football players? Whose this end games have no rules. Well, certain players have dual nationality. Certain players can pick and choose which one they want to. Well, not pick and choose, but they can choose which one they want to play for over the other. I don't know. I'm still under the impression it's not a hill I want to die on anymore. I couldn't care less who's manager. Like, England could choose a manager from India as their next head coach, and I wouldn't bat an eyelid. They could choose someone from New Zealand, wouldn't bat an eyelid. We could go for Ange Postecoglou. As our next England manager, and I wouldn't care less. Big up Royal Red. How you doing? Well, my bro. Guys, go and subscribe to Royal... Where is it? Where's it at? Royal Red. Go and subscribe to my bro over there. Show him some love. Show him some support. Doing some incredible stuff. And I'm sure you will not be disappointed. Big up to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Can't wait. The UCL gets started on the 16th of September. Get in. Absolutely. That is coming around again. Cannot wait for the start of a brand new Champions League campaign. Big up Royal. Big up yourselves. That's between you lot. How many games do you watch in a week, and do you follow any other sport? Mainly football, and I try and watch as much as I possibly can. It's not possible. Premier League is my religious sort of league, I guess you could say, that I watch. I try and watch as many Premier League games as possible. But I will catch the odd game or two here and there of other leagues. I was watching Real Madrid, for example, last weekend. Well, not this past weekend, just gone, but the weekend before, because they started streaming some La Liga games on Disney Plus. and I didn't realise until a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I just turned on Disney Plus, and it was like, watch Real Madrid against, I think it was Real Mallorca. I think it was that. Anyway, I can't remember who it was now. Was it Osasuna? Or was that the week before? Anyway, I don't remember. Like I said, my memory's terrible. But yeah, they started streaming some shows on there. So yeah, I catch the odd game here and there of other leagues. Other sports, I drop in and out of tennis every now and again. I drop in and out of the F1 every now and again. But football is the main one. Football is the religious one. And football is the one and only sport for me, really. Like I say, don't mind F1. Football's the main one, and I drop in on the darts, I drop in on snooker, I drop in on F1, and I drop in on tennis. But I couldn't tell you what is going on as much as I can tell you what's going on in football right now. Like, I genuinely couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you like the ins and outs of F1. I couldn't tell you who's doing what in darts right now. I basically just drop in every now and again. I watch a few games or I watch a couple of tournaments, and then I will drop straight back out again. Like, it's just the way that it is. I'm going to do some UCL watch-alongs from the 16th. Good man. Like I say, guys, get following Royal Red if you want some very good insight into the UCL matches that he's going to be covering. I'm sure there's going to be some Liverpool games, as he is a Liverpool fan, of course. But you sound like you're going to be doing some other games as well outside of Liverpool, which is going to be very, very good as well. So, like I say, guys, get following. I used to be a loyal Serie A follower back in the day, but their league's aura has disappeared, especially after the Juve scandal. Yeah, it still can be a fun league to watch at times, and Napoli have certainly increased that over the years. But yeah, Serie A is not what it used to be, not by any stretch. I used to follow Bundesliga a little bit. I used to watch Bundesliga a fair amount, and then the past 2 or 3 years or so, I've sort of dropped interest in the Bundesliga, to be honest. Typically, just when Bayer Leverkusen were getting, with Xabi Alonso getting really, really good. Then, of course, they went through their invincible season. Yeah, it's, yeah, like I say, I'm just a casual fan of most leagues now. I'm just a casual fan of most leagues. Like, I'll catch the odd game here and there, especially if it's on like TNT or the occasional game on Sky. But yeah, there's just too much football. There's just too much football to go around. And like I say, I'll specifically follow the Premier League, and I'll try and watch as many Premier League games as I can. But the rest of them, it's just casual. Not 100% sure what you mean by you take away go to. I'm not 100% sure what that's in reference to, bro, but I appreciate the chat. Do you even watch Premier League matches, newly promoted teams or lower table teams when they play against each other? If I've got other concerns or other things going on, but if I'm free, I'll have it on in the background. I won't watch them as intensely or as under the microscope as I would say if it was like Liverpool versus City, Liverpool United, Arsenal Tottenham, Arsenal Chelsea, that kind of thing. I'll stick it on the background. I will sometimes watch the Championship as well. Sky will normally throw on like a Championship game every now and again when there's not a Premier League game on, and I will occasionally watch that. And obviously, being from Nottingham as well, if County's on, every now and again I will drop in and watch County as well. So, like I say, it's a bit sporadic and it's a bit scattergunny, but yeah, it's just a big part of my life. Just a big part of my life. Snooker, my best 147 in 35 minutes. I used to be very good. I mean, I could only dream about getting a 147, and sorry, there's just I'm just seeing what this says here. How many has reached? Oh, it's just a sponsorship rules thing. I can only dream of getting a 147, and especially in 35 minutes. It would probably take me a long, long time to get a 147. I can only dream of that. I used to be good. Had 6-9 dart finish. Played in teams. Still after 6 years, had highest finish. Again, I grew up in a sort of darting family a little bit in terms of my dad just played for a team, my nana used to play for a team, that kind of thing. So I've kind of grown up with like darts being a big part of like, family events and pub events and that kind of thing. Am I any good? I'm mediocre. I have good and bad days. But yeah, that's all fun, isn't it? Do you play darts, Paul? Like I say, casually. If I'm out with friends and stuff, I'll play both. I'm better at pool than I am darts, though. I would probably say that I am probably better at pool than I am playing darts. I'm okay. I guess. I'm not amazing. I'm not a world beater or anything. Takeaway food or your food you eat your favorite. I'm not like a chef. Like, I can be okay at cooking food, but I'm not like a chef. I'm not like a master chef or anything. But there genuinely, there's no better feeling than when you plan a meal, you make it, and it turns out to be absolutely banging. Like, if you can do that, that is like one of the best feelings in the world, in my opinion. So I probably prefer to make it myself, to be honest. But yeah, let me know what you think about that as well. I mean, would you prefer to like watch West Ham versus Wolves over Roma versus Napoli or Bayern versus Leverkusen? I mean, Bayern versus Leverkusen would probably take center stage. Let's be honest, that's probably the bigger game. So I probably, if there was ever like a fixture clash like that, I probably would go with like that sort of that. Yeah, I would probably in that. Okay, so in that kind of scenario and situation, I probably would. Sorry, I probably would go with whatever the bigger game is. I get what you mean now. I probably would go with whatever the bigger game is to watch. But yeah, it's fun. Okay, darts then. Wait, your dad's probably 28. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what their darts weigh. To be perfectly honest with you, I could not honestly tell you off the top of my head. Nottingham Forest, great history. Will they be back, or has that train left? I mean, Marinakis' ambition would certainly tell you that it is possible for them to get back to the glory days of the 70s and 80s. However, him getting there, that is another question entirely. It's a bit weird what's happening at Forest now, isn't it? The Nuno Espirito Santo thing is seemingly blowing up, and you do fear that another couple of bad results, like the one against West Ham, for example, you do fear that his job is probably going to be up. They were obviously already talking about replacing him already. They were saying that Nuno's job is on the line still. And I'm sure the defeat against West Ham obviously didn't do him any favours. But it does seem like there is a big in-house dispute at Forest right now. And the centre of it seems to be their new sporting director of Edu. Edu seems to be at the heart of it. There seems to be some sort of conflict between Edu and Nuno. Marinakis is obviously at the head of it. And he's probably the guy that appointed Edu in the first place over the course of this summer. So if there is a conflict, if that conflict is still unresolved, and it's basically a case of, well, this club ain't big enough for the two of us, you'd have to assume Edu's going to be the one that stays, and Nuno's going to be the one that's off. And Forest fans aren't going to sit there and be like, how dare you? How disrespectful of you, Mr. Marinakis. Did you not see what Nuno did for us last season? He got us to European football. No one expected us to get to European football. We were in contention for the Champions League for a large part of the season. No one's going to sit there and point the blame at Marinakis, because God forbid anybody would call out Mr. Marinakis. God forbid anybody would question the all great, powerful Mr. Marinakis. But Forest fans will go with their glorious leader in whatever crazy decision he makes. The only thing that would be good, the only thing that would be freaking great about Nuno being sacked, from my personal perspective, from the outside looking in, would be the replacement, the successor of Nuno Espirito Santo being Jose Mourinho. That would be box office, bro. Box office. Replacing Nuno with Mourinho would be a top quality decision, because they wouldn't get along. Mourinho would be tired and annoyed of Marinakis right from the get-go. And then after it's all said and done, then we will finally get to see what it's really like at Forest, because there's no way that Mourinho would stay quiet and would just be like, yeah, I prefer not to speak. I know we said that in the past, but I doubt that if things turn sour at Forest, that would happen. But having Mourinho back in the Premier League would be amazing to begin with. Having him be the manager of Nottingham Forest, working with Marinakis, those two probably going head-to-head with each other, butting heads constantly, that would be box office. I just want that to happen. It would just be amazing if it did. Just be amazing if it did. Leeds Forest, great days. Absolutely. Great rivalry. Great history there. Which cuisine do you like most? Italian, Indian, Chinese, American, Mexican? Probably Italian. Pasta, pizza, all over it, bruv. All over it. You need to eat and get some sun. Great stream. Leave your like. Big up. Have a great day, man. Enjoy. Big up to yourself, man. Big up to yourself. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. We are going to wrap up the stream because Jesus Christ, we've been going for 2.5 hours. I didn't even realize. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, we are probably going to wrap up the stream because we have gone way off the topics. And I love that, by the way. Like I say, this is your stream as much as it is mine. Like, this is been amazing. Lovely, great talking points. Lovely to talk to each and every single one of you. But like you say, it is time to get back to a bit of reality. But yeah, big up to yourself, Wild Dead Wolf. I hope you're doing well, my bro. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Mourinho has finished, sadly. No ambitious Premier League club would go for him. I still think the name and weight of Mourinho does hold... Well, the name and reputation of Mourinho does hold some weight. I still think it does in this day and age. I know that he's finished as far as a top-level club is concerned. Like, Liverpool aren't going to get rid of Arne Slot and go for Mourinho. Arsenal are not going to go and get him if Arteta leaves. Don't think Man United would ever go back to Mourinho. And of course, Chelsea are not going to go back to him either. Neither would Tottenham on that regard as well. And City are definitely not going to replace Pep Guardiola with him. So I think he's sort of done at a top level club. But at the same time, a team that is pushing for European places, I don't necessarily think it would be a terrible idea. I don't think it would be a terrible idea to maybe give Mourinho a shout in that aspect. Look at what he did with Roma, by the way. Won them won them the Conference League. Look at what he did with them. So there's still some life in him yet. There's still some there's still something there with Mourinho. But yeah, it's it is definitely something that I think is worth keeping an eye on, just in case. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you to each and every single one of you who joined in this stream. Thank you to everybody who contributed in the live chat. Thank you to everybody that has hit the like button and subscribed throughout this video so far. If you haven't done so already, then feel free to do so. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And of course, get involved in what will now be the comment section of the video. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling down there if you're watching on playback. So get involved in the discussions that we had, or anything that you want to talk about for future live streams or videos. Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling down there. Otherwise, thank you everybody for joining me. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. Thank you all once again for your love, support of the channel and the video. Absolutely amazing from each and every single one of you. And I will see you speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Take care of yourselves. And I will see you when I next see you. Take care. Take care.